Chapter 1. The watchers stood on the lakeshore, peering through the heavy mist that hung low on the water this time of year, when winter was just thawing into spring. Across the lake, the outsiders' voices were as hollow and mournful as a loon's cry. Sound had always traveled strangely on Endla. "What do you think they're doing?" Sage whispered against Leelo's ear, sending a chill down her spine. Leelo shook her head. It was impossible to tell through the fog. They'd only been watchers for a few weeks, and so far they'd had no interaction with the villagers across the water. They shouldn't even be here. They wouldn't be here if it were spring. Winter had made them complacent. She stretched and looked out at the few remaining ice floes, scattered like the reflections of clouds on the water's glassy surface. The majority of the lake was too deep to freeze, and only the rare fool was bold enough to attempt the crossing. The carcasses of young migratory birds served as the occasional reminder, should anyone need it, of the lake's magic. They washed up on the shore with their feathers and flesh eaten away by a poison so strong it could sink a wooden boat long before it would ever make it across. "Maybe we'll be lucky this year," Leelo murmured, more to herself than Sage. "Maybe no one will come." Sage snorted. "They always come, cousin." She tugged on Leelo's blonde braid and rose. "Come on, our shift is over, and they're not going anywhere for now. Let's find Isola." They hadn't seen their friend much over the winter, but Isola, who was a year older, had been finishing up her own mandatory year as watcher. Now that Leelo had done it herself, she wouldn't blame Isola if she spent an entire month hibernating. Watching was both boring and exhausting, all at once. Leelo followed Sage into the trees, the soles of her shearling-lined boots quickly becoming mired in the mud and dead leaves left behind by the melting snow. She hated this time of year. Everything was dirty and drab, even their clothing. She wouldn't wear the bright, beautiful dresses her mother made until the spring festival. Sage stopped to pluck a branch of red holly berries from a bush, quietly murmuring a prayer of thanks to the woods that provided so bountifully for Endla. As watchers, it was their duty to protect their home from the merciless outsiders who had destroyed all but this, the last of the wandering forests. "We have to finish making our crowns. You haven't even chosen a theme yet." Leelo sighed. "I still have time." She had always loved the spring festival, but now she clung to the days like a child at her mother's skirt. The sooner it was spring, the sooner her little brother Tate would be leaving, unless by some miracle his magic emerged before then. Whenever she thought of Tate out there among the outsiders, she wanted to cry. Because if she wouldn't be there to care for him, who would? They left the main trail and made their way to Isola's cottage, where Sage knocked briskly on the door. Nearly a minute passed before it opened a few inches, revealing Isola's sleep-swollen face and tangled hair. "What is it?" Her words came out as a croak, clearly the first she'd spoken this morning. "We're sorry." Leelo ducked her head, already retreating. "We didn't realize how early it was." "It isn't early," Sage said. "Isola is just lazy." Leelo nudged her cousin with her elbow, though Sage had never been known for her tact. The girl blinked a few times, trying to rouse herself. "I didn't sleep well, that's all. What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be watching?" Sage shrugged. "Our shift ended. Nothing was happening anyway." A shadow passed over Isola's gaze. "Nothing ever happens until it does." It was such a strange thing to say that Leelo wondered if something had occurred on Isola's watch, something she and Sage had never heard about. It was entirely possible an outsider had attempted the crossing without all the younger islanders knowing. But any successful breach would have been announced. Outsiders caught by watchers were always given a choice: the forest or the lake.